All right, we are live. Welcome, everyone. Brendan Coates, Bodies by Brendan, author, speaker, educator, gut expert. And today I am going to be interviewing one of the keynote speakers of Living Legends in Leadership, the live event on April the 3rd. It's funny how I met this person, and I don't know if I want to spill all the beans now in this call or at the live event. I think I want to leave it for the live event, but I tell you what I will say. When I was first introduced to Tasha, I knew she was special right out of the gate. There's something about her, and I'm not going to say exactly how I was introduced, but I knew that she was a real, genuine, sincere person, and I knew right away she was special. And she's fiancés with one of my personal bodybuilding coaches and longtime friends, Cody Amy. So I guess it's easily fair to say that a friend of Cody's is a friend of mine and vice versa. Oh, look, now we got a real star in the video.
Yeah, to make an appearance, right?
Yeah. So if anyone doesn't know, that's Ludo, her boxer, and that's basically your son, correct?
Yes. What are you doing?
Well, welcome to the quick little podcast interview. Thanks so much for spending your time to do this. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, and basically we're just on this just to introduce you, some of the speakers, get some excitement going for this event, and really tell all the viewers and the listeners who you are, what you're about, and what are some of your skill sets, and why this event is going to be so exciting to attend. Because you can only take away so much from an audio podcast or interview. Live events are really exciting. So why don't we start off with who is Tasha? And what is Tasha Star?
Right. So I am a regular person, but also a competitive, I guess, bodybuilding bikini athlete, coach, and fitness enthusiast, I guess you could say, health and fitness, because I'm going to make sure health is prioritized, as unfortunately in the bodybuilding fitness industry, as much as we emphasize health as being something important, it's actually often neglected, which is one of the things I really try to focus on with my work. So
that's something that, I know that, but maybe the viewers and listeners don't necessarily know that. But why don't you touch on that? Because there is a big difference, or there's a lot of athletes and there's a lot of bikini competitors that are, praising and showcasing health, good health. But really, I know that you understand health on a lot more in-depth scale. So why don't you kind of go into that a little bit more?
Yeah. So I think one of the biggest problems in the bodybuilding industry specifically is that, there is this sort of idea that it's based on health and wellness, but it really isn't. Like, to actually be a competitive athlete is very, very taxing on your body. And not a lot of people prioritize healing phases. So in their off season, for example, or when they're not prepping for a show, they're not going through a true recovery. So they're just continuously damaging their body over and over again every time they diet. There's so much stress all the time through training, dieting, cardio, emotional stress, and these things don't ever get a chance to fully repair. So from the outside, it's like, oh wow, look at her, she's so strong, she's in good shape, she must feel amazing. But the reality is it's not at all like that. So that's part of the reason that health and wellness has become such an important part of my life, because I am a competitive athlete and I do put my body through hell. But I know that if I want to have longevity in this sport and, longevity in life in general, that I need to prioritize other things and other healing practices to make sure that my body keeps working for me and not against me.
Mm-hmm. That's is that a commonality among, let's just say, the fitness industry and even coaches as well? Like, are people neglecting the healing aspect, or what are you seeing?
Yeah, no, absolutely. The healing aspect, and I think also ignoring stress, because if the body's chronically stressed, it's not going to respond the way it should be responding to, decreasing food, increasing cardio, changing training. So, anyone can create a diet. Anyone can put someone in a deficit or give them some fad diet, or you can read a fad diet online. But if these other things aren't taken care of, you're not, getting the support from proper nutrition, or if your nutrition's lacking because you're in a deficit, you're not getting support from vitamins, herbs, minerals, whatever. And then say you might have this other external stress going on, whether that's work, other emotional issues. You've got all these things kind of compounding problems that aren't being acknowledged, and your body's going to eventually start fighting back.
Yeah, that's very valid, very good points. So that actually is going to lead me to, oh, you're even quiet. That's going to lead me to two questions. First one is, so what is your business? Like, who is Tasha Star? Because I know that you offer online coaching, and
Yep.
that's your business. So how have you tied that into your business?
Right. So Star Lifestyle, I started doing my own thing again this past year. I had been working with a different company for several years leading up to that, and I finally branched out on my own this year and just kind of wanted to go in a different direction and focus on emphasizing more health and stress reduction for my clients. So I have a background in psychotherapy. I went to school for psychotherapy. I worked at a practice for 3 or 4 years, full scale clients, but I just felt it was very restrictive. So that's a whole other story, but I transitioned into the fitness industry, and I knew that this background in therapy was going to be an asset, but I don't feel like I really fully took advantage of that until I went out on my own this year. And I started working a lot more on the emotional side of things with clients, and also that like health, stress reduction, all that stuff. So although my business now is predominantly lifestyle, this has become so important for competitors as well, because I'm really focusing on that repair part of their training, so during their off season, and then also really promoting more support and balancing out the stress reduction while they're dieting or prepping for shows, because your body's under so much extra stress with just that stuff alone, that you have to be taking care of yourself that much more outside of the gym when you're dieting for a show.
Hmm. Great. So maybe that'll tie into the next question for the listeners and watch, or listeners and people that are viewing. You have two different kind of businesses essentially. You've got like a lifestyle where you're working with, is it fair to say mostly women, or do you have a mix of men and women?
It's strangely enough, I don't know if guys are scared of me, but I have one male client. So
okay, so
I'm not opposed to it, but it's just that's my target audience.
Got it. So you're working with women in the lifestyle. So basically any average woman, someone who just wants to get healthier and some lifestyle coaching, you do that, and you do athletes like bikini competitors, correct?
Yeah.
So I guess basically it's good to let them know this, because I think maybe some people are, is it fair to say like they're maybe intimidated, or they didn't know that you offer lifestyle coaching, you're only a fitness competitor coach?
100%. And it's funny because I post my lifestyle clients more than anything, and I still get questions on a regular basis about whether or not I do lifestyle. So I don't know if my transformations are just that great that people assume that they're athletes, but yeah, I mean, lifestyle is a much bigger industry than competition for sure. And I feel like competing has kind of reached a bit of a plateau now. It was on a really exponential rise. It was so popular for years. And a lot of people just wanted to kind of do a show to do a show, but more people experience it, the more it's kind of leveling out, because they realize that it is a different ball game doing an actual competition versus lifestyle type of transformations.
Right. So what would you say the ratio is then from athletes to lifestyle clients that you're working with on a monthly basis?
Lifestyle is probably 90% and
Okay.
athletes are 10. Yeah.
Have you ever, or do you sometimes transition lifestyle clients into competitors? Is that something that they're looking for, or at this main point, they're just looking to maybe drop X amount of pounds or balance their hormones or their gut bacteria or whatnot?
Yeah, no, absolutely. A lot of times lifestyles, athletes do transition. And something else that changed with my work too, when I went on my own, was I started sort of what's the word I'm looking for? Almost screening people that want to do shows. Because the more I got into it, the more I realized that, like I mentioned, people want to do shows just to do a show to say they accomplished a goal. And I was finding that the fallout from that was really, really bad. So I had in the past worked with a lot more competitors, and just sort of narrowing that down and only working with people now that I feel are truly, truly ready to compete both mentally and physically, because there's so many different things that can come into play and be such a negative thing during prep or after you do a show. For example, if you have not such a great relationship with food, that could create a lot more binge eating patterns during prep or after the show. You know, you hear about these women having horrible rebounds, just blowing up. Stress, again, if you're a high stress person, you're going to have a lot harder time dieting. And then the physical aspect, like, are you mentally ready to push your body to its limit? Can you stick to a diet? If you can't stick to a diet as a lifestyle client, you're not going to be able to stick to a diet on prep, because it's a lot harder, and you know, mentally it's just going to be a lot more overwhelming. So now I kind of go through these things, and I'll rarely take someone on just to hop right into a prep unless they've done shows before and I've seen how they are, sort of, you know, what kind of progress they've made, how they were after their show or in their off season. But these are all things that I think are important to kind of look at, because I don't really want to just prep someone to prep someone. I want to make sure that they have a positive experience during and after their competition.
And that's something that I guess you can take pride in, is, you know, it's fair to say that you genuinely care about your clients, and you're not willing to just put someone through a prep just for the sake of it, where we know in this industry, these online coaches, that they'll take anyone and anybody. So
Yeah,
maybe what does it take to be, sorry, go ahead.
Sure. I was just going to say, I've turned down people, I've turned down money. To me, you know, having a good reputation as someone that cares and someone that prioritizes health and putting people on stage in a good place is more important than running someone into the ground, you know, destroying their body, their metabolism, their outlook on dieting. Like, that's not worth it.
Mm-hmm. So then what does it take to be just one of your clients? Like, what does it take to be a lifestyle client?
In terms of like dedication, or
yeah, dedication, not necessarily prerequisites, but just more so, you know, are they mentally ready? Are they physically ready? Like, what does it take? And what does it take to really commit? Because we both know in this industry, it's, you know, a lot of people have challenges just even committing to any type of program.
Yeah. Well, I will take on just about anyone for lifestyle, because I think that everyone has their own starting place. So there's some people that are already in a really good place to do a diet or do a transformation. And there's some people that take a little more work, in which case my focus isn't necessarily always on just dieting them harder, but building up the mental and emotional confidence to be able to do that. And in doing so, like, if you, like, my whole kind of tagline is strong body, strong mind, or you can even interchange those two. So, you know, if your mind is strong, naturally your body's going to follow a lot better. So that's definitely always a focus with my clients, is making sure that they're built up to a point where they're confident and they can, you know, really stick to these things and dedicate 100% effort. But that's really all I ask, is for them to give 100% of themselves to me, whatever that may be for them. And I had a point in my head and I'm trying to remember what it was. It was something good.
Well, I'll tell you what, why don't I ask them, or just maybe mention, go back to your schooling in psychotherapy with that background. So that's certainly something that you use to your advantage in this industry. But as a follower, I don't feel as though that you do yourself enough service, and you don't really mention that enough. And maybe some of your followers don't know that you've got such an extensive background on mental health, also known as brain health. So
Right.
Do you want to maybe just touch on that really quick?
Yeah, so I actually went to school for what they call relational psychotherapy. And the basis is strongly rooted in early childhood development, early childhood relationships, attachment theory, all that kind of stuff. So basically that, you know, although we have this genetic base, and like, absolutely there are chemical imbalances that cause all sorts of issues, but a lot of what we experience as adults is based on how we learn to experience things growing up. So, this can be applied to really anything in life, including fitness. So just trying to understand how people experience things and why, so I can understand them better and figure out ways to optimize my end of things for them. So it makes more sense to them, really.
So do you get to really know your clients? Do you try to do some digging and research and try to have some open dialogue in order to kind of see where they are mentally?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, even from the beginning, my intake forms are very extensive, and my check-ins. So I'll check in with my clients regularly, and the check-ins are very extensive, like most detailed questions, even about stress, sleep, all these different things that they experience day to day that might seem insignificant, but they really aren't. So that if I see something pop up that might be a red flag, I can explore more and ask them what's going on, or ask them to tell me about their experience more. And the other thing too is I find a lot in the fitness industry, there's a big gap between check-ins for clients. Like a lot of coaches will do check-in once a week or once every 2 weeks, or some people once a month. To me, that's way too much room for error. So many things can happen day to day that if you have a whole week gap, like who knows what's going on. So depending on the individual and kind of like where they're at emotionally and physically, sometimes I'll check in every other day with them, just to make sure everything's functioning properly, and it leaves less room for there to be a situation pop up. Like I don't ever want anyone to feel like if they're under stress or they're having trouble coping with their programming or whatever for some external reason, that they can't contact me to help them work through that.
Right. And you know what, that actually brings a really good point, because let's just compare you to a doctor's office, for example, or some type of therapist. Traditionally, if, patient or client is having issues, they've got to book an appointment, could be down the road, availability and all that stuff. So for the viewers and the listeners, a check-in is either email or text or direct message on Instagram. And what is a check-in?
So a check-in kind of reviews everything that's going on. They'll send me their current programming, diet, cardio, all the supplementation, like everything that I've currently outlined for them in terms of their fitness goals. And then there's also a list of questions below that I want them to answer. So like I had mentioned, talking about stress, how is your sleep? Did you stick to your diet? Did you have any hormonal symptoms? Did you have bloating? Like as much detail as I can possibly get out of each individual, so that I can assess their progress better. It's different than just, okay, they sent me their diet for the week and they sent me some pictures and their weight. That doesn't really tell me how you truly felt throughout the week.
Right.
So it's much more detailed.
Cool. I'm going to change direction a little bit because I've just got a couple more questions.
Yep.
I think it's a common theme among most individuals. Doesn't matter if they're athletes, people that are just starting out in fitness, people that are young adolescents, teenagers, adults, even elderly. Cravings.
Yeah.
What's up with cravings, and how do you approach cravings?
Cravings are tough, and again, it can be very different from person to person, because some of them are based on physiological things going on, and some of them are based on mental, emotional things going on. So establishing where it's coming from first is super important, because if it's an emotional thing, then that's a whole other ballgame that we got to tap into and figure out why you're feeling that way and why you're compelled to eat, and where that lack of control comes from. If it's more so a physiological thing, and that's often what happens with competitors or someone doing more of an aggressive diet, then it tends to be more about discipline and determining, are you truly invested in your goals? Do you want to get to where you want to get to, or is food more important? And kind of like figuring out, the level of discipline needed to achieve the goal.
Right. And, you could probably go on and on and on about that. Certainly, are you going to be able to give some examples of those scenarios at the event?
Yeah, I should be able to pull some out of my hat.
Yeah, because I want, for this event, I want people to really be able to immediately utilize examples that they can resonate with and that they can, associate themselves with, because so many people have, there are definitely commonalities. And I really wanted to touch on cravings because so many people are faced with them. And if you're able to explain the whys, whether it's physiological or mental, then hopefully they'll be able to make those connections as well and be able to apply them afterwards.
Right, for sure.
Okay, 2 more questions. So what's your passion? What really lights you up on fire? Because in this industry, there are so many individuals as coaches and whatnot, but you've definitely separated yourself amongst so many of the others, and you've branded yourself amazingly. You've had, contracts and sponsorships, and you're doing very well for yourself. So how have you capitalized on your passion, and how have you kind of turned it into this whole Tasha Star Fitness?
Well, I think like you mentioned before, is the piece about genuinely caring. And I truly love everything about this industry and helping other people and hearing about how my knowledge and my care has translated to someone else. So, when people tell me that they've never felt this good while they're dieting or trying to achieve a goal, or they never thought they could achieve a goal, or, even like, I do have this one woman that I've been working with for a while now, and she had previously been working with another coach for years and had like a really, really great relationship with her, and was terrified to leave because of this friendship they had built. But there was a lot of other stuff going on. She wasn't sleeping. Her digestion was terrible. And when I say not sleeping, I mean like 3 hours a night.
Oh.
Yeah. And like, just, I could go on, and maybe I will use her as an example because she's fantastic. But, the feedback I've gotten from her since changing things and more proper nutrition, decreasing, her training was like a lot of volume. So by volume, I mean tons of sets, tons of reps, really long workouts. And we shortened them a ton and focused more on effort and intensity through those workouts, focused on decreasing stress. And, every check-in I get from her, I have to laugh because every single response is in big, bold, capital letters. And she's like, I can't believe how amazing this is. I can't believe how amazing this is. And like, she's sleeping 7-8 hours a night now, and she's mind blown. She's like, this is every night. Like, I never thought I would sleep this well. So hearing how much of an impact that I have is just like, it's such a great feeling. Like, it's more, I don't even care if I'm a millionaire. I just want to make people happy and healthy, and that's what keeps me going and keeps me invested in this industry, because there are highs and lows, but at the end of the day, I know that I'm trying to make a difference to someone else's life, and when I hear that I am, it's the best feeling in the world.
That's great. I couldn't agree more. It's such an amazing feeling, and even if it's one person, it just really makes things worthwhile, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, big time.
Yeah. Okay, last 2 points. If there is a listener and viewer watching right now, and you were to give them, and maybe let's just say they're struggling on nutrition, what's that one piece of advice that you would give them kind of for right here, right now, something they can take away?
Right. So I think that one of the biggest issues with nutrition is that there's so much information out there and so much misinformation out there. And people really need to go back to just basic, fundamental nutrition, focusing on whole foods, healthy foods, because I find that a lot of times if clients don't have direction what they're eating, or they're trying all these fad diets, they end up having more cravings and more rebounds than someone who just sticks to eating quality, healthy food all the time. And, a lot of times I transition clients from these random inflammatory food sources to just whole basic foods, and I didn't even have to change their calorie intake or anything, and they already see such a huge difference. So go back to the basics. Don't make it complicated for yourself. It's really not. It's, calories in, calories out, but eat quality whole foods. Your body will feel better, and you'll get a lot better response out of it.
Great. I couldn't agree more. As a nutritionist,
Yeah,
you're preaching to the choir, all about basic and fundamentals. And actually, Dr. Nandor is going to be talking about that as well. One last point then, if for your viewers and listeners, maybe they've never met you before. I know you've got a lot of clients that you've never met. You're always just working online. How do you feel that by coming to this event would benefit them? And what are you excited most about speaking on such a large scale?
Excited or terrified? Yeah, I mean, I think it's just overall going to be a really inspiring event. Even for myself, I mean, I would have never pictured myself speaking at something on this scale ever in my life. I'm not the most comfortable with public speaking, but you know, that's just a perfect example right there. Challenge your comfort zone, step out of the box. Like, you're capable of a lot more than sometimes you even think. So, you know, I think maybe even I can use myself as an example for that, overcoming my own fear of public speaking. But in general, there's going to be so many inspiring people there, and so much to learn and take away from it, and to be able to interact and ask questions and, you know, really get the most out of it. It's going to be a very full day, but full of amazing things. So
Yeah. Good, good, good. Okay, one more point. What's next for you? What's on the horizon? I know you offer some really cool glute workshops out of Pure Muscle Fitness. So for those that are listening and watching, Pure Muscle Fitness is a gym in Burlington where I'm going to call it the best gym in the world because it's absolutely amazing. So I know you teach glute workshops, so I want you to touch on that. And what else? What else is Tasha Star Fitness working on? What else do you have in the projects?
yeah, so the glute workshops are going to continue. I'm trying not to do them too frequently because I really do want them to be like a special occasion kind of thing, and I do put a lot of effort into each one as well. So it's and they sell out. We seem to be selling out like hotcakes. Everyone wants hotcakes, like glutes. So yeah, I'll keep doing those. But, you know, on the other side of things, I'm trying to look for more ways to just spread more wisdom on how to make healthy, positive changes in your life, both mentally and physically. So I am in the works of getting a website up and running where I would be able to offer a lot more detailed information in a larger quantity than what I can put out on Instagram on a day-to-day basis. So
Right.
more of like a database for understanding, even in terms of training and how to train properly, and not even necessarily about how to execute certain lifts so much, but just understanding the basics of why you should train a certain way. So like I mentioned with that client, not doing 2-hour long workouts, those aren't necessarily going to be beneficial for you. So kind of back to the basics. And I think that's something that a lot of people ignore these days, and everything's so complicated online. Like, it shouldn't be.
Right. So if people want to reach out and follow you, see what you're about, why don't you let us know your social media handles and maybe your upcoming glute workshop if it's not already sold out.
It unfortunately was.
Okay.
There will be more probably middle of the summer 2020. I'll put out another one, but yeah, just keep following me, stay in touch, and you'll see all the updates. But my Instagram is at Tasha_Star_Fitness. And I can also be reached by email, which is TashaStarFitness@gmail.com.
And you are still accepting clients, correct?
Yes. Yeah.
Cool. And is there going to be maybe an exclusive offer at the event for new clients and anything like that, or any new programs?
Yep, for sure. I'll be putting something together.
So they'll just have to attend, and
They will.
That's the carrot at the end of the stick.
Exactly.
Okay, everyone. Thanks so much, Tasha. Wonderful interview. Really good talking to you. Any last words of wisdom, or we just want to sail the seas from now?
I'm sticking with strong body, strong mind.
Okay. And you know, you couldn't have said it any better, because like you said, if you've got mental strength, then the body is able to follow that. But if you've got a strong body but you don't have a strong mind, that only lasts for so long, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Okay, everyone. Thanks so much. Tasha, thanks for your time. And for those that are interested, again, you can follow Tasha at Tasha_Star_Fitness on Instagram. And your email, once again, is
TashaStarFitness@gmail.com.
awesome. Okay. Thanks so much, everyone. And I'm just going to conclude there.